question of science, does God exist or not? We cannot apply scientific method to those things which we cannot measure and test. Science can tell you how to make a bomb, but is using this bomb morally right or wrong cannot be justified through science. Scientific knowledge is not objective. Science is not only determined by data, but also by our rational judgments and values. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Welcome with Islamic greeting. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. God and science. We live in an age of science and technology. We have achieved a lot in science than ever. But there are some issue or problem which raised with the rise of science. One of them is rejecting belief in the existence of God. But I will take this specific issue under a serious academic consideration in order to know, is it due to science or due to misunderstanding of science? So let me start with the first question. What is science? According to Oxford Dictionary, science is a systematic study of the structure and behavior of the physical world through observation, experimentation, and the testing of the theory against evidence obtained. Now it is clear that science is a knowledge which we get through observation and experimentation. But when it comes to observation, experimentation, there are very real problem with observation and experimentation. And they are following. Number one, problem of induction. Number two, problem of undetermination by theory of observation. Number three, problem of theory relatedness. Number four, problem of unconceived alternative. Let's take one by one. Number one, problem of induction. If you want to understand problem of induction, so we have to understand inductive reasoning. What is inductive reasoning? Inductive reasoning is a type of reasoning in which we take limited data, limited outcome. Based on them, we take general conclusion. So in inductive reasoning, we go from specific to general. But the problem with inductive reasoning is that it is probabilistic. I mean, the conclusion which you derive through inductive reasoning may or may not be true. For example, there is a basket of mangoes. So I take few mangoes from the basket which are raw. So based on this observation, I conclude that basket is full of raw mangoes. Now this conclusion may or may not be true realistically. Now coming to the science. In science, we build or make theory hypothesis based on inductive reasoning. So if inductive reasoning is probabilistic, then our theories, hypotheses are probabilistic. If they are probabilistic, then we can't claim about them to be certain and absolute truth. So if theory are probabilistic, then they can't be certain and absolute truth. Number two, problem of underdetermination by theory of observation. It simply means that we can derive multiple theories from the same data, or same data can support multiple theories. For example, there are two scientists, scientist A and scientist B. Scientist A believe that light is particle. Scientist B believe that light is a wave. So both conduct double-slit experiment. So they get bright and dark spots on their screen. So now they got the same data, same observation. But now the scientist A, which believe that light is particle, interpret this data or bright and dark spots that these are due to accumulation and absence of photon. On the other hand, the scientists who believe that light is a wave interpret the same data or observation that these bright and dark spots are due to constructive and destructive interference of light. So they have the same data, same observation, but they interpret differently, which clearly give us indication that data are not self-interpreting, but it requires some theoretical framework to make sense of them. So different theoretical framework will have different theoretical assumption, different criteria, different method for evaluating data, which will lead them ultimately into different conclusions, even if they have the same data. So here are some good points. Point number one, scientific knowledge is not objective. but rather it depends upon our theoretical framework and preferences. Number two, we cannot claim about our scientific theory to be certain and absolute truth when there are alternative equally compatible theories to our theory. Number three, let's say there are multiple theories about X. They are not equally compatible. One of them is empirically strong. So scientists pick or choose the one which is empirically strong. Now, does it mean that the theory which has selected by scientists which is empirically strong is true and other are wrong? The answer is no. It doesn't mean that. That the theory which is empirically strong or chosen by scientists is true and other are wrong. It doesn't mean that. Because the theories which are not empirically strong may replace the theory which is empirically strong today and the future. Yes, we can say that the theory which is empirically strong is a good explanation or good theory according to the present data, but we cannot make this claim that it is true and other are wrong. Number four, let's say there are equally compatible theories about X. They are empirically equal. Now, if scientists want to pick or choose one of them, so scientists will use some of the criteria like simplicity, coherence, explanatory power, predictive success, some of these criteria to pick or choose one of them, which give us clear indication that science is not only determined by data, but also by our rational judgments and values. Number three, problem of theory-ladenness. It's a term used in philosophy of science, which means that observation and perceptions are not neutral or direct reflections of the truth and reality, but rather they are influenced by the theory which we hold. For example, I will give the same example of light. For example, there are two scientists, scientist A and scientist B. Scientist A believe that light is particle, scientist B believe that light is a wave. So they both conduct double-slit experiment. So they get bright and dark spots on the screen. So now they have the same data, same observation. Scientist A who believe that light is particle will interpret this data or this observation that these bright and dark spots are due to accumulation and absence of photon. On the other hand, the scientists who believe that light is a wave will interpret this data or observation that these bright and dark spots are due to constructive and destructive interference of light wave. So they have the same data, same observation, but give us different interpretation. It means that different observers will see different things even when they look to the same phenomena because of having different background knowledge, because of having different conceptual framework, which leads them into different conclusion even if they have the same data. So here are some good points. Number one, scientists will always try to interpret the data in a way which support his view, his theoretical model. Sometimes they may get enormous data which will not fit easily in his model, but he will try to push it in his model. Sometimes scientists may ignore the data which contradict his theoretical model, which give us clear conclusion that scientists are consciously or unconsciously biased toward their theoretical model. Number four, problem of unconceived alternatives. It simply states that it is more likely to be alternatives equally compatible theory to our present theory. They may replace our present theory in the future, but we have not conceived or developed yet. So the conclusion is that we cannot claim about our scientific theory to be certain and absolute truth when we cannot rule out the possibility of other alternative theories in the future. By the way, this problem is highly supported by historical evidences because these strong historical evidences which supports this problem. For example, before the development of quantum mechanics, scientists did not conceive alternative to classical mechanics to account for the phenomena of light and atoms. Question number two, is science the only way to know, or is science the only way to the truth? The answer is no, science is not the only way, but one of the way to know. Because science can explain certain things, but not others. The reason is that science works best on scientific methods. Scientific methods have some limitation. One of the big limitations of the scientific method is that we cannot apply scientific method to those things which we cannot measure and test. Therefore, moral judgment, aesthetic judgment, supernatural things, metaphysical things are out of the realm of science. For example, science can tell you how to make a bomb, but is using this bomb morally right or wrong cannot be justified through science. Similarly, how much your dad loves you cannot be found through science. Now coming to the God. God is supernatural thing. We cannot apply any scientific method to God. Therefore, it's not the question of science, does God exist or not, but it can be the question of the philosophy. So if someone asks for a scientific proof for the existence of God, it's totally ridiculous. Question number 3. Is believing in God against science? The answer is no. It is very ridiculous to say if you believe in God, then you can't do science. Because the people who make this claim did not realize the difference between philosophical naturalism and methodological naturalism. They did not understand philosophy of science. So what is philosophical naturalism? Philosophical naturalism is a metaphysical claim which says that only nature exists. There's nothing supernatural. There's nothing beyond nature. There's no God, no souls, no angels, no miracles. On the other hand, methodological naturalism is a way of thinking which says that we should only investigate natural causes behind effect, or our domain of investigation should be only natural causes behind effect.
Science is based on methodological naturalism.
Methodological naturalism does not affirm or deny the existence of supernatural things. Therefore, scientists can be atheists, scientists can be theist, can be atheist, and can be deist. For example, Aristotle and Muslim civilization like Ibn al-Haytham, Ibn Sina or Khwarizmi, even in the Western civilization like Newton, Maxwell, Copernicus, Galileo, Maxwell, even the modern time, Albert Einstein, Max Planck, all these great scientists used to believe in God. Some of them were theist and some of them were deist. So it is not against science to believe in God. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Leave a comment below.